Thank you everybody for joining us today. We have from Heartland, Shawn, Zambruno, and John Romano. They are going to be talking to you about recruiting, onboarding, and work opportunity tax credits. We appreciate you joining us today. We ask that you mute your lines during the presentation and use the chat feature at the end to ask any questions you may have. And we will be recording this and sending out a recording to all that are participating, and it will be up on our website too. And with that being said, I'm going to turn this over to Shawn and John. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hope. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar. Just maybe do some brief introductions. John and I will also go over the agenda for today's webinar. And then John is also going to not only just talk to the recruiting, onboarding, tax credits technology that's out there available, but also demonstrate and show you the technology also that's out there available. I myself have been with Heartland for 5 years and been with in the payroll industry for 27 years total. I'm in Western Pennsylvania. Work very closely with the Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association. Tried to attend the meetings, golf outings, and the annual conference. Really enjoy working with the folks that are members at the PRLA. And thanks for this opportunity. I appreciate everything, Hope. John, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. So I've been working with Shawn for just under 3 years now, and we've been very successful at helping a lot of businesses in Pennsylvania take advantage of not only this recruiting and onboarding, as well as the work opportunity tax credits. I think between the two of us, we have, hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings for clients in the state of Pennsylvania. So we're really excited to talk to you today and talk a little bit about these different opportunities that are available to you, and help you with some of the challenges that you're going to face out there right now.
Want to take next slide, John, please?
Yeah, sure. And
Thank you.
Without further ado, I'll let Shawn talk a little bit about some of the challenges that businesses are facing today.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly with COVID, lots of financial challenges, and we'll talk a little bit about how work opportunity tax credits and hiring people back to work, or hiring new employees to work, that is, and being able to get a federal tax credit. We're going to take you through that today. Being able to save you some federal taxes that you owe. Very exciting topic. Been around for 30 years, but there's some great technology to be able to process those credits for small businesses really easily, and so forth. So talk about that today. Really dive in, talk about how some of the ways that you can actually recruit without actually having to be face-to-face, and even everything can be paperless, from a job application to all the electronic onboarding paperwork that needs to be done in the times of COVID also, which will help help you cast the net wide, recruit better quality talent. Recruiting is probably the #1 challenge I hear from restaurants and hotels, as I work with a lot of business owners. In fact, Heartland works with 7,000 restaurants that we do payroll for across the United States, and we do 65,000 restaurants. We do their credit card processing also. But looking forward to taking you through and addressing some of the challenges that you're dealing with today.
Great. So next, let's talk a little bit. Shawn and I have mentioned a little bit about this work opportunity tax credit, and let's talk a little bit about what that is. So the work opportunity tax credit is a federal income tax credit. So it's used to offset your federal tax liability. And this program's been around for a long time, since 1996. Okay. And so what it really does is it's the government's way of rewarding businesses for hiring people that they deem face a barrier to employment, is the actual verbiage they use. But really what it boils down to is if you hire individuals that fall into some of these categories, like if, and these are important things nowadays, if you're hiring veterans, okay? If you are hiring individuals that live in certain counties, okay, you can get tax credits. Individuals that are on food stamps, as we talk about this COVID, and individuals that are being, laid off. One of the first things they're going to do when they're laid off is go and, apply for unemployment and possibly food stamps. Welfare recipients, those on, if you hire someone that's disabled that's on SSI, you can also get tax credits. Ex-felons, if you hire someone that's been, released from jail recently, you can get tax credits. And also, and this is going to be important now, if you, with this whole COVID thing, if people have been long-term unemployed, so if they've been unemployed for a long period of time, you can actually go ahead and get tax credits for hiring these individuals. So this is a fantastic program. It's federal income tax credit. However, it is administered by the state of Pennsylvania. And it's used to offset your federal tax liability. And everyone's like, oh, wow, I've never heard of this. And there's a couple of reasons for that we're going to talk a little bit about. But keep in mind, on average, about 1 out of 5 individuals you hire will be eligible for this program. Okay, the tax credits can be substantial, but historically, the application process is time-consuming and complicated for business owners. So that's why you don't hear a lot about it, is because it is just that. It's time-consuming. You're a business owner. You have to worry about your business, right? You don't have time to, deal with a bunch of paperwork. But with the technology nowadays, the process can be very easy, and we'll spend a little bit of time going over that. So these tax credits are available to employers who hire individuals in those criteria. Having a system in place that simplifies and automates the process makes it easier to identify these individuals and apply for these valuable tax credits. And again, why do people not take advantage of this? Why am I not hearing from my CPA on this? Probably in a lot of cases is because it is so cumbersome. But with technology and automating the process, we can make it very easy. And again, like I said, there's thousands of dollars out there. So it's $2,400 to $9,600 the amount of tax credits you can receive in these categories. The tax credits are actually based upon the number of hours worked and wages earned. So the longer someone works for you, the more in tax credits you're able to receive. And then, this is going to be very important this year, especially, is, in some cases, if you've been shut down, you might have some losses this year. So the great thing about these work opportunity tax credits is we can carry them forward up to 20 years. So if you can't use them this year, you can turn around and use them next year. So without further ado, one of the things that Shawn and I want to do is just kind of show you a little bit about how this process works through this system here. So within the Heartland system, we have something where you can go ahead and do a lot of the things we talked about. So if we go back and talk about, hey, what are some of the things that, some of the challenges you're having, okay, especially with COVID, we're finding a lot of individuals, okay, a lot of companies are looking to open up, right? You've been closed for some time because of this. There's been government restrictions. Now you're looking to open it up, and you're giving a call back to individuals that have been maybe furloughed, or you're looking to bring them back, and they're on unemployment, and they're making more money now than they were before. So they're hesitant to come back. Well, guess what? You need to open up. Your doors need to be open. You need to start revenue coming in. So getting and finding good people is going to be very difficult. So let's kind of talk a little bit about that and how we can leverage technology to kind of make that an easy process. So our system setup here is pretty easy. You'll go ahead and you can post jobs through it. You put in the job title, copy and paste the job description. Okay, you can enter in job categories. Equal employment opportunity information is important nowadays, and we can generate reports for that for you. You can set up different applications in the system. You'll put in the city and state where the job's located. Compensation, you can go ahead and put information into the system as far as compensation goes. and hopefully cast a wide enough net that will get qualified individuals in there. Now, this is also really important nowadays is, you know, the struggle to find good people. And part of that is, you know, hey, maybe looking at resumes, you know, a lot of cases you're going to find someone's resume looks great, and then you waste your time bringing someone in. That's an absolute dud. Okay, so the resume looks great, but when you get them in for an interview, you know, you find they're not what their resume looks like, or in a lot of cases it just might be the opposite of someone's resume. You're a little sketchy about bringing them in, but then once you start talking to them and interviewing, you realize, this candidate's pretty sharp. So we have systems to kind of help with both of those scenarios where you can ask pre-screening questions. Okay, so when someone applies, you can go ahead and ask a number of questions. So we have some here you can select from, things like, why would you be a good fit for this position? What makes you stand out from other candidates? You know, strengths and weaknesses, those type of things. And then the other cool thing about this system is you can also ask your own questions and pick and choose how you want the applicants to respond. So in a lot of cases, you know, we're going to be hiring individuals, and you're going to find some cases you'll go ahead and bring someone on and they can't do simple math, right? So maybe some of the pre-screening questions can be, you're going to have people handling money, so it's important that they can do simple equations. So set up 4 or 5 multiple choice questions like, oh, hey, the bill came to $17.29. The customer provided you with a $20 bill. How much change should you provide? So it's better off to find out in this type of environment that, oh, hey, my till's short, than in the real thing. So, you know, leveraging technology to help you, assist you in filtering through and finding good people is imperative, especially in this environment we're in right now. You can also do written questions, audio questions. So maybe you're going to be hiring someone that's going to be answering the phone all the time. You can go ahead and ask a couple questions where they answer the phone. And this one is huge, also webcam responses. So you can go ahead and ask a question, why do you think you'd be a good fit for this position? And then someone can get in front of, you know, their computer, sit down and, you know, explain to you, you know, those type of things. Or you can, you know, again, ask questions where they can, you know, open up, develop a rapport with you and find out some good things about them. And again, you know, hey, resumes don't always tell the whole story. So this is a great tool to kind of help you with that whole process. Next, you just make sure everything's all set, and then you go ahead and publish the job. You know, once you post the job, it will go out to, you know, some job boards, Indeed, Glassdoor, Google. Okay. And then also the cool thing about this whole system is it is able to kind of assist you when the individuals start applying for the job. So one of the things we also have set up here is, you know, when you go ahead and set this system up, you're going to get your own customized careers page, okay, that's going to look something like this, where you put your logo in here, information about your company, okay, and then all the jobs you have posted. You can actually take this customized URL and embed it as an iframe right in the career section of your website. So it's a great tool. Oh, hey, we're going to go ahead and post some jobs. We want them appearing on our website so people can apply and have everything filter right back in here. All right. We also have really cool technology called text to apply. And really think of this as an interactive help wanted sign. And so again, you know, when we talk about the COVID situation, we're discussing, you know, hey, we don't want people touching everything or walking in the door, you know, when we really don't need them to. So one of the things we can do is set up these text to apply posters. Well, you'll come, put your logo in here, okay, and then you're going to print these off, and you can post them on the windows. So maybe you're not even open yet, right? And you can go ahead and post these on the windows. People walking by, okay, might say, oh, hey, this place is hiring. Great. Let me go ahead and apply to a job. And all they do is text a word or number to a phone number, and then they'll receive a link on their phone, you know, something very similar to this, and then they go ahead and apply to the open positions you have. So this is a fantastic tool, okay, think of it as an interactive help wanted sign. So again, we're kind of eliminating a paper application. We're having people apply to the jobs online. And it just makes it really easy for you because everything's going to feed right back into the applicant tracking system. All the individuals will be right in here. Okay, so whether they come in from, you know, the job board that's syndicated to, or, you know, they've gone to your website, everything is going to flow in here. And that's important, okay? It's been in the news lately, this Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, okay? You know, when we're talking about that, it's important. Every employer has to keep every application and resume. So if you have over 15 employees, you have to keep every application and resume on file for a period of 1 year after hiring decision's been made. So it's imperative that you have all of those application resumes on file for a period of 1 year after hiring decision's been made. Well, the nice thing about this system, it's going to go ahead and keep all those for you. Again, we don't want hands touching pens, paper, you know, and exchanging back and forth between managers and, you know, all of that. So again, with this text to apply, we can have everything filter right back in here, which just makes it very easy for you. We also have this cool thing called Post to Craigslist, where you can do just that. Or really, you can copy and paste this and put this anywhere. So the customized URL, again, is going to feed right back into this system. Okay. But also, maybe there's a local culinary school or a community college or a university near you where you want to go ahead and post that out to. You can do that. We can also push it out to social media, okay? And again, everything's going to flow right back in here. The cool thing about this is think of this as a virtual stack of resumes you can put in different piles as far as promising, maybe, offer, okay, decline. There's, you know, it's always very nice. And if you put yourself in a job seeker's position and think about what they're going through, you know, hey, it's very hard, you know, going out there and find a place to work. So, you know, one of the worst things is not knowing. You apply somewhere, you know, it's been a month, 2 months, you never heard back from the company. Well, what happens with that? That's going to leave a really bad taste in your mouth. And then all of a sudden you're going to stop going there. Okay. So maybe it was one of your favorite places to go. Now all of a sudden you lost a customer because you weren't polite enough to send out a nice little message that says, you know, thank you, but at this time, you know, we're not interested. Hey, that's fine if you're not interested, but at least letting them know it's kind of a nice, polite thing to do. And again, when people are going to get, and you all know this, people are going to go ahead and maybe recommend you. But if you do something that upsets someone, they're going to 10 times more likely to express those feelings, okay, post something on social media. And, you know, though the amount of people that say nice things is outweighed by the people that say negative things. So it's always important to do that nice thing of doing the decline message. Again, you also will be able to see who's attached an application, okay, a resume, as well as who's answered those pre-screening questions, and also who's eligible for that work opportunity tax credit. So you'll be able to see all of that right in here. Okay, and then like I mentioned earlier, it's a true system where we can do all of those things. Now we have all these people that have come in from all those different ways we talked about, but you can also schedule interviews through here. So nowadays it's really important to go ahead and do virtual interviews or in-phone interviews as opposed to the in-person interview. So again, you can go ahead, think about how long you want the interview for, and then pick and choose different times that you're available and send the request out to the candidate. The candidate will go decide, you'll get an email back as well as it'll sync up with both your calendars. You can add notes during the interview, you can email the candidates, you can rate the candidates, you can share the candidates between you know, managers. You'll put the manager's email in here, put a little note, hey, I met with this candidate, I'd like you to talk with them next. Boom, go ahead and send it out. All right, and then once you're ready to go ahead and you know, hire someone, you'll just come click hire, and then we'll move over to the onboarding. Before I do that, Shawn, is there anything else that you wanted to add about this process?
No, you're doing a fantastic job, John. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, so again, hey, when we're talking about onboarding, you know, again, we want to make sure that individuals are not necessarily touching things. So if you have a huge packet of different things and their hands are all over those, again, we might want to eliminate that. So what we can do is once you go ahead and decide to hire the individuals, okay, you can pick and choose the different things you want them to fill out. Okay, you'll enter things in like their name, okay, their you know, whether they're going to be working full time, okay, whether you want them to, the title and the start date. Okay, and then you go ahead and you send the documents out. All right, and once you go ahead and send those out, okay, the individual gets this little email that says, hey, congratulations, click here to begin the onboarding. And then they can go and fill everything out, okay? So they can go through the whole process, you know, everything from, you know, their contact information, we can include an offer letter that, you know, the information you just put in there, like their name, okay? When you want them to start, okay? What you're going to pay them. All that information will feed right into the offer letter. We can also have them electronically sign the employee handbook, so they'll go through, review this, and literally this whole system, this whole process can all be done right on their cell phone. So think about that, how great that technology is as far as, hey, they can sit at their kitchen table or even maybe sit at the bar and fill this all out. Okay, right there, then and there on their phone. All right, they can, you know, Mercy Contact, W-4s, both federal and state of Pennsylvania. You know, I-9s, they can go click that they're a citizen, take pictures of their documents. All of that can be done right through this system, right on their mobile device. So it just makes it really easy as they're going through the process. The other awesome thing here about the system is, oh, hey, once that email goes out, you can actually see in real time as they complete it. So when it goes out, everything's gonna be a red X mark. As they complete it, it changes to a blue check mark. So you'll know everything's done. All right. So it's great. So the concept being is, oh, hey, let's say we hired Meredith today and she's gonna start next Monday. You know, we can come and take a look and follow her process throughout the week, okay, and make sure everything's done. And then, you know, we can go ahead and once everything is completed, you know, you'll complete the employer side of the I-9. But also, let's say Meredith shows up on her first day and there's still some outstanding items. With this provide onboarding assistance, you can sit down with Meredith, okay, both sign you're doing this together, and then just go to any of the areas where she had a question or an issue and get those completed. And then, so once everything is done, whether they needed assistance or they got it done themselves, you're going to complete the employer side of the I-9. Okay. And that being said, you know, they're going to have taken pictures of their documents. But what do the I-9 rules say? I-9 reads that you, as the employer, within 3 days of the start date, have to make sure that the employees, okay, bring those documents in and you physically examine them. Okay, so as wonderful as this technology is, okay, that piece is still imperative. All right, and if any of you have been involved in an IA9 audit, you'll know exactly how important this is. Okay, those audits are very important. If you don't have the documents, the fines on those are pretty hefty. So think of this kind of also as a little extra insurance policy to make sure you're staying compliant with the I-9 rules. So if you're going to physically examine the documents, you're going to compare them to the picture that was taken. If they're different, you reject them. If they're the same, you hit accept. Okay, and then you're going to come and fill this out. So what is this? This is really the second, if you look closely at the verbiage in here, it's the second page of the I-9, okay? Where you as the employer are required to come in and tell the government what documents they used, okay? So if it's something from list A, it'll be one, but if it's something from B and C, there will be 2 items here. You just come in, let us know what the documents are. The nice thing about this is it kind of limits, you know, your options. Okay, so if this is a driver's license, you know, it'll be off 50 states they can come and select from, and then you just put in the document number and expiration date. You know, your name will be pre-populated in here. You'll just come, put in the date, sign and save, and then boom, all that information will then flow right into the payroll system. So now, oh, hey, there's Meredith, okay, right in payroll. So the kind of, the nice flow of that, everything just flows right in there. Then one other quick thing I want to go back and discuss a little bit is the tax credits. And the other beautiful thing about this system here is, hey, we can always come and track, where we are in the process. Hey, the orders have been submitted and now we're just waiting for the state to certify the individuals. Okay, there's going to be nice reports in here where you can come and view how much you've earned in credits, as well as, okay, so these are federal income tax credits. They're used to offset our federal tax liability. So what happens with our federal tax liability? Oh, that's right. Right in, middle of March, we got to file our taxes. So here it is, right around the end of January, early February, we'll send out to you a nice little tax package that says, oh, hey, this is how much you've earned in credits. Here's all the supporting documentation that you're going to need to give to your CPA. And then take a look at this. This is really cool. Okay, this is the form 5884 that you need to turn around and attach to your tax return. Okay, so if you go to the IRS and find this form, this is something that gets filed with your taxes. And take a look at this. This is awesome. We actually give the CPAs line by line instructions on how to fill the forms out. So it just makes it really easy for you, okay, to take advantage of these tax credits, okay, that are available. And that's basically it. Shawn, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Do you want to highlight too in the recruiting where someone has the ability to see if someone potentially qualifies for credit? Ultimately, you'll always hire the right fit person for the role, but we do put the tax credit questions in the job application if that's something you do want to do, and it can let you know which candidates do potentially qualify for a tax credit.
Sure. Did you maybe want to go through and see what applying for a job looks like from a job seeker's perspective as well?
That'd be great, Shawn. Yes, thank you for taking us through that. That'd be great.
Yeah, let's quickly do that. So again, this is what is kind of like going through and doing the onboarding from a job seeker's perspective. But as far as applying to a job, it's going to be very similar, okay? And we do see about 2 out of 3 individuals utilizing their mobile phones. I'm sure all of you see people on their phones all the time. It's the same way here. So they're going to be able to come, apply to the job. If they have an Indeed, LinkedIn, or Facebook account already set up, the beautiful thing is our system's going to take that information from that profile and pre-populate right into the application. All right, they'll answer those pre-screening questions that we talked about. And then they'll come and do this tax credit assessment. So the beautiful thing about this is, hey, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about, oh, hey, this program. So when they're answering these questions, it's set up in a decision tree format. So depending upon how they answer the questions, we'll determine if additional questions are asked. If any of you have ever looked at the 8850 or 9061, which are the 2 forms that are required to be filled out by the employees or candidates, they're very confusing. A lot of candidates are eligible for the tax credit, but they get so confused by the forms that they answer them incorrectly. And then you, as the employer, you miss out on the tax credits. So we kind of help alleviating that by just setting up very simple, easy questions for them to ask. And if they answer no, then we just move on to the next one. If they do answer yes, we might dig a little bit deeper to make sure they do qualify. So the important thing to remember about this, and especially during COVID, we'll remember as you're hiring people back again, rehires are not eligible for this program. The government kind of made a decision early. They didn't want employers going out and firing employees and hiring them back just so they get the tax credit. So that's one of the first questions we'll ask. Okay, and then we come in and ask, oh, hey, and just keep this in mind. It's not just the person you're hiring, but it might be one of their family members. If they're on welfare, SSI, or food stamps. Keep in mind, 56 million Americans are on food stamps right now. Okay, so just think about that. 56 million people are on food stamps. Well, guess what? 56 million people have spouses, have children. All right, so just do the math on that and think about how that relates, it's crazy to think about how many different people that will qualify, but you'd have no idea. I don't know. Never been in an interview where anyone's ever asked if I'm on food stamps or not, or whether my mom is or my dad is. So it's a very easy question to answer. You know, if you've been unemployed for a long period of time, if you're a veteran, okay, if you're referred by a veteran agency, you're convicted felon, and then we take a look at where you live. All right, so it's that easy to apply right through there. And then as Shawn mentioned, you know, once we go ahead and the people have applied, you'll be able to see in here, okay, if they've applied and how much they're eligible for. So the concept being is, oh, hey, if our final decision came down to 2 candidates, you know, the interviews went great for both of them, and it's really come down to a flip of a coin. They're both very qualified. The concept of this program is the government wants you to turn around and hire the individual that they deem face a barrier to employment. So it is a fantastic program. You know ahead of time if the people are eligible, and then, you know, the credits can be very substantial.
That's great, John. In relation to the tax credits, do you want to speak just to maybe some of the restaurant and hotel clients that we do have? You know, where are they using the technology to get their candidates hired? What kind of credits are they getting? And maybe even show the estimated tax credit based on 20 hires. Maybe we could go through that. That'd be great, John.
Yeah, sure. So, you know, we actually are seeing quite a few individuals go through this process and are utilizing this. So again, they go ahead and they'll post jobs, they'll have the individuals apply, and we'll actually get them screening. But let's quickly go and kind of do a little scenario for you, talk a little bit of, oh, hey, if I'm hiring 20 people, kind of what that's going to look like. So the concept of this being is, so let's say we have 20 people, okay, we're going to hire this year, okay? And what percentage of those are going to be eligible? Let's say on average, we'll say 20%, which is the industry norm in the country. But again, in the restaurant industry, typically a little bit more individuals will apply. So literally it could be closer to 25, 30%. And then, oh, hey, you know, if we think about it, there's credits range from $2,400 up to $9,600, but it's all based upon the number of hours worked and wages earned. So the employees have to get to 120 hours, okay? And once they do, you get 25% of their wages. The important thing to remember is this is based off their FUTA wages. So that being said, it's based upon, especially when we're talking about restaurants and servers, it also includes their tips. So, oh, hey, you know, are we going to factor in they're making $3 an hour? No, we're going to factor in the fact that they make $20 an hour in tips when we're doing our calculations. So let's say even if we have some turnover and some people don't make it to the max, we'll go ahead and turn around and say that our average credit's going to be closer to $2,000. Okay, so then just like that, if we're hiring, you know, 20 people this year, all right, and 20% of them are eligible, and the average value is about $2,000, they're going to receive close to about $8,000 in tax credits. And you know, we do have a number of businesses, you know, small businesses that hire, you know, 10 or 12 people a year that are getting tens of thousands of dollars. You know, I think we have a couple others that hire, you know, an individual that runs a catering business and hires more than 20 people a year. You know, the credits were, you know, very high, like $50,000-$60,000 in tax credits. So it is important when we think about this, how substantial these tax credits can be. So,
And John, do you want to
yeah.
speak to who that passes down to, what type of business they are, and how they can use the federal tax credit, the work opportunity tax credit, to apply on their tax return?
Yeah.
And does it flow down to an individual sometimes or not, too? If you don't mind, you can comment on that.
Yeah, that's a great point, Shawn. So these are federal income tax credits that offset your tax liability. And so if we have partnerships or if you're set up as an S Corp, the credits can pass through, okay, to your individual returns. So if you're set up as an S Corp or a partnership, you know, the credits can pass through to your individual return as well.
Fantastic. Thanks, Shawn. And I think to recap here, first, again, appreciate everybody attending. We're definitely looking forward to answering some questions in a moment. During COVID, a lot of our clients like the fact that, again, that they can recruit, do a video interview, send out the electronic onboarding documents so that they don't have to come in the office and spend an hour touching things and being in the office initially there. And then from there, finding some tax credits along the way. So it's a way to kind of help with some of the challenges of COVID in a big way. A lot of our clients really utilize the excuse me, the electronic onboarding first and foremost, just to try to get some of that paperwork gathered. Right now, restaurants and hotels, excuse me, have to do a lot of hiring to get people back on board. And there's actually a stat out there that out of the 40 million that were unemployed, 84% of the employees potentially looks like may not go back to work with the same employer. So there's a lot of folks looking for jobs. There's a lot of great talent out there. It's a great technology to help you find great talent, get them on board quickly, paperless, and then find some tax credits along the way, just to kind of recap what we talked about today. But outstanding job, John. Hope, is there, or Eric, are there any questions that might have come through chat, or if someone wants to send through and we can help answer any questions, it'd be great.
Michael Leifer has asked, what is the next step?
Yes, so at this point, certainly if someone is interested in talking further with myself or John, we have, John, do you have a slide with our contact information there?
I do, yeah.
Want to reach out? Yeah, thank you. If they want to reach out to either myself or to John, we can talk further about what technologies out there we just went through for each individual individually. Would love to have a conversation with them, talk a little bit further about how they're doing things, what challenges they might be seeing, and how we can help with that and give some pricing if need be.
Great.
Anybody else have any other questions?
You guys were very thorough.
Yeah, I really hope that the information was timely and helpful. Again, with us working with 7,000 restaurants that we do payroll for and 65,000 restaurants that we do credit card processing for, we're really the leader in the industry to work with restaurants and hotels throughout the country. We really specialize in this particular topic, and we do beyond just what we talked about today. So anybody interested in talking further about things we do at Heartland, would love to talk with you and further down the road. Thank you, Hope. Thank you, Eric. Thanks everybody for joining. If there's any other questions, I'll wait a minute. Anybody else have anything else to ask?
No, it doesn't seem like it. I mean, maybe they'll, get in touch with you offline
Yes.
too. But we appreciate you both getting on the line and presenting this information to our group here. And as I said, a recording will be sent out later and posted on our website, so you may even get some more people watching it afterwards too.
Thank you so much, Hope, and I wish everybody a prosperous recovery from COVID. And I wish all of you the best in business. Take care. Thanks, Hope. Thanks, Eric. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thanks. You too. Thank you, everybody,
Great job,
for joining
John.
us.
Thank you.